Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Balanced Vibes podcast. I am your host, Kirsten. What we're going to talk about today is what a successful build up metabolism boosting phase of your fat loss looks like. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I have my signature BFF method that I take through many of my clients, not all of them, but 75% of my clients I take through that method. And this is a three-step method where there are steps like build up, then there's a step like fat loss, which is, of course, what most people are interested in. However, they are not ready to jump right into it before doing the build up first. And then there is this forever phase. So build up, fat loss, and forever. And I talked about this method in detail in episode number 170. So make sure to go check out that before you listen to this one so you understand what I am talking about. Although I cover quite a bit in today's episode too. I think it's still a good idea to go check out the 170 as well. So today I want to bring you a not guest, but a case study that shows what a successful build up phase looks like. And like I have mentioned earlier too, that build up phase is necessary for those who have been under eating, and it doesn't always necessarily need to be like severe under eating, like 1200, 1300 calories. Sometimes this under eating can also look like 1700 if this is not actually the person's maintenance calories. So what we want to have before we can move on to the fat loss phase is to get the person to their maintenance phase, maintenance calories, because this is now a healthy place to cut from. So you basically build up a reserve, right? So now that you have room to cut from, and by the way, it doesn't mean like when you are building your calories up to that point that you're now gradually like keep gaining weight and inches, because then what would be the point, right? You just get bigger, 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 and then we cut, and then you're back to where you started from. No. If you do this build up phase correctly, then your measurement shouldn't go up by a lot, and unless you are severely under eating. They may go up a tiny bit, they may not go up at all. A lot of people actually lose inches right now. A person who has lost 13 inches in this phase, and this is really great, of course, but this build-up phase is really necessary to get your calories to the maintenance point, and now you have room to cut from there. Because if you don't have that room, if you are already eating less than what your maintenance level is, then your fat loss phase is not likely going to give you as good results as it really should. And if you don't know if you are currently even ready for fat loss, then go ahead and grab my Lean Ladies Calorie, Protein, and Workout Guide, where you get step-by-step instructions for figuring out what your maintenance level is. And so many people tell me that they had no idea that their maintenance level is actually higher than what they have been eating. It is very, very common that women think that 1600 or 1700 calories is a lot, let alone 2000, which sounds like a number totally out of this world. Like, how is that even possible? They think that this is just way too much and they should never eat this much. But the truth is that most active women need at least 2000 calories a day, in my opinion. Of course, I can't say that this is exactly everybody, but most active women and many active women need more to maintain. We can talk about the numbers like 2300, 2400, even 2600, and this is where the weight stays stable. So it is very important to increase the calories as much as possible without you putting on significant amount of body fat, without letting your waist and other numbers go up a lot or at all. So we're increasing your calories by doing it gradually. We're increasing your metabolic rate by doing that. And when you have also a good lifting program at the same time, now you're setting yourself up for a successful fat loss that will then happen after this build up phase is done. So today I want to give you an example of a person who have done this build up phase. She's now a week 11, I believe. And I'm going to share with you what she was doing before, how her health and well-being looks like, and food and training and all that, and what she's doing now. 10 weeks. I think she's now 10 weeks in, and what we're going to do next. So this person, when she started with me, she was eating about 1800 calories, and it doesn't sound like too little, right? So we're used to hearing, okay, 1200 is too little. But like I said earlier, too, it may very well be possible that your maintenance calories are actually way higher and that 1800 is not what you need right now. So for her weight and her height and her activity level, I estimated that her maintenance calories are about 2400 or 2500. And what we started doing then was that we started increasing her calorie intake. We definitely modified her workouts and added in proper resistance training, the way I do in my Train to Build program, which you can also check out. It is in the show notes. And we started increasing her calories. We definitely started increasing her protein because she's one of those few people whose carbohydrates really high. So I feel like nowadays it's so rare to have high carbs. Everybody is like low carbs, 50 grams a day. I'm like, just stop that bullshit. But good thing is that she wasn't doing that, but she was eating way too many carbohydrates and not really much protein at all. The fat was somewhere in the middle, kind of moderate. So we definitely switched that around, and she started noticing that she's now, of course, feeling more satiated, feeling more full, energy very much stable. And she said emotionally too, feeling just so much more stable, not having these like weird emotional roller coasters, ups and down, and it ups and downs. And it really all came from increasing her protein and getting her to a better place calorically also, because like I mentioned, she was actually eating under her needs. So now we have increased her calories by about 700. Yes, you heard that right, by about 700. And she actually has not gained weight. So when she started, she's the same where she is right now, and she has dropped a couple of inches. So her measurements have gone down, not by much, because remember, this phase is not a fat loss phase. Yes, this is the preparation phase. So her measurements have gone down a few inches from her chest, from her waist, and from her hips, and then other areas they have stayed pretty much the same. I also want to say one more time that this build-up phase is not a guarantee that you're going to lose tons of weight and lots of inches. Although sometimes people talk about it this way, they say, "Oh, this is reverse that." It's essentially reverse that when I say the build-up phase, that everybody loses weight, and it is not true. However, sometimes it does happen, and in her case, her weight has stayed the same, measurements have gone down, and her body has totally reshaped. So her body shape is very different. She definitely has a lot more ab definition, and she's having more of that like hourglass figure right now with a smaller waist, and the waist and hip ratio is bigger now. So before it was more like straight, now it's definitely more that hourglass shape. And of course, this has come from higher protein and then also the workouts. Before we even talk about workouts, I want to talk about some other things that were going on and that tell us that maybe if you have similar signs going on, you're probably not eating enough yet and you're not ready for fat loss. And you really do need that build up phase before. So, what she was dealing with was that her sleep was not great at all. She was often up at night, and she said, she just had this weird wired feeling in her body, and she just couldn't go to sleep. And we started doing a couple of things. First of all, she reduced her coffee intake. And I hate to be the person who's telling you the bad news, but coffee really can be very strong stimulant for a lot of people. It really depends on how you metabolize coffee. There are people who can't drink coffee and be totally fine and go to sleep an hour later. But then there's other people who can drink it in the morning and still feel the effects of it at night. And this is what keeps them at night. And keeps them up at night. And she was one of those people. And she said, I started reducing. And then she realized that, okay, it has to go completely. And since she made that shift and stopped drinking coffee, her sleep just regulated. And it is a lot better right now. The other thing that we started doing is getting morning light. So within the first 30 minutes, if possible, get outside for 15 to 20 minutes and just get some sun on your skin, even if there's no sun where you're living, still outside, bright air, bright light and fresh air is so beneficial for you, and it sets your circadian rhythm, which means that your body is getting a signal it's time to wake up. And at the same time, it also knows that about 16 hours later, it is time to really increase the melatonin, and so that you can start going to sleep. So the body is actually really wise, but it is your job to give your body the signs, kind of tell it what to do. And it really starts in the morning. Preparation for a good night's sleep starts in the morning. So get outside and get some light. Actually, just recently, Andrew Huberman did a really great podcast on that. And he said that even if it's a cloudy day, it is still so much better to get outside versus turning all the lights on in your house, because you'll never get the same amount of light that you need. And of course, if it's a brighter day, the sun is up, then 5-10 minutes is good. But if it's a kind of cloudier day, then 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get the same effect. So definitely say, make an effort to get outside first thing in the morning. It will really help you with your sleep. And this is exactly what she has experienced too. So two major things. She quit coffee and she started getting morning light. And she said, absolutely, I'm feeling so much more rested and recovered when I wake up, and I don't deal with the struggles of going to bed and getting sleep, because all this is so much more normal now. So as you of course know, sleep is such an important part of your health and also your fat loss. So I don't want you to start trying fat loss if your sleep is not decent. If it's just really bad, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, crappy sleep, then your body's not an optimal place for that, and you have to fix that first. Now, the next thing that was really bothering her before was that her energy was just low, and she just didn't feel like doing much at all. She was just like sit on the couch sometimes, it just feel really tired. And this is where, of course, the coffee came in a couple of times a day. And she knew that she doesn't want to obviously feel this way. And again, this is not also an optimal place for fat loss if you're feeling this way. We started doing a couple of things. We brought in the mineral drops and then the adrenal cocktails. So the mineral drops, they're called trace minerals, really great little supplement that you can add to your drinking water, and make sure that your drinking water is clean water, not tap water. As we talked with Erica too a couple of episodes ago, you don't want to be drinking tap water. You want to drink filter water. But when you filter your water, then it also filters out the minerals. So you're not getting the minerals. And minerals are really, really important for your health and well-being, your energy levels, and all that. So I really recommend the trace minerals. I can probably put the link in the show notes as well for that. So I personally take 40 drops a day, and I started her out by taking 20 drops a day. And then she started adding, and then now she's around 42. Of course, what I'm saying here is not a medical advice. So make sure that you know that I'm not a doctor. I'm just talking about from my experience and what has worked for me and for my clients. And the other thing we started doing, which is definitely totally harmless, I mean, you can't go wrong with that, is that adrenal cocktails. Probably heard about that too. So this is basically a drink that you mix together from citrus fruit. So it doesn't always have to be citrus, it just has to be a high vitamin C fruit. Most commonly it is oranges. You can also make it with lime juice. So you mix together one fresh squeezed orange juice with, let's say, 8 ounces of coconut water, and then a little bit of sea salt. So don't be afraid of salt. Salt is not bad for you. It's actually essentially very good for you. And so you just drink that cocktail. This is what she has been doing as well. 1 or 2 a day. And she says that she does notice a difference. And this is really good for dealing with stress. It gives your body the minerals, potassium from coconut water, vitamin C from citrus fruit. By the way, you can also use pineapple if you want to. You can also do it with lime, but it just doesn't taste as good with lime. I feel like it's just so tangy. So adding those adrenal cocktails in has also been a really good thing for her, because she feels like her energy is better. So the minerals and the cocktails. Okay, then next thing, what did we do with her workouts? Before, her workouts where she did a little bit of Pilates, a little bit of yoga, and just kind of a little bit of random exercise, like sort of strength train-ish, but not really. And that definitely had to change. So we started doing 3 lifting sessions a week, and she was in my Train to Build program. And she has been getting so much stronger. Like I said earlier too, her muscle definition is definitely coming out and showing, and we are increasing her metabolic rate. Her steps are high, but here too, we don't want to push it too much. So she's pretty active already. She's doing 3 strength workouts. She's doing 1 yoga, 1 Pilates. And when her energy is not every day like perfect, then I've told her like totally fine to not hit that 10,000 steps. Then listen to your body. If you can't do all of the things, listen to your body and know you have to understand, you have to be in tune with your body and not overlook its signs when it's trying to tell you something. When it's trying to tell you that, hey, I'm tired, I already did the workouts today, it's not going to be 10,000 steps, then you got to be okay with that. So a little bit more flexibility there, but overall she is getting between 8 to 10,000 steps if her energy is great. And then of course the energy has been better and better as we have progressed on this journey. So steps, workouts, muscle building, lifting heavier weights. She also joined the gym so that she can use heavier weights, which, by the way, does make a difference. Of course, if you have to work out at home, my program Train to Build is designed for that too. You can totally do everything at home too. However, I will say that at one point, if your dumbbells are up to like 20 or 25 pounds, you're probably going to need heavier weights to continue stimulating your muscle growth. So it's definitely worthwhile to look into a gym membership or get some sort of heavier weight setup for your home as well. And then with food, like I already said, we significantly increased her protein, and also we started tracking her macros more accurately, so she actually knows what goes into her body. Because if you track things, you know what to change and you know where you're going and what you're doing. If you don't track, you're just guessing. It's very difficult to get really good results from that. So we've been getting very accurate with that, and she is getting good results. And then lastly, what we have been doing is taking more intentional breaks and understanding when the body needs rest and recovery. So a lot of the times I see people, honestly, very similar to myself, and I think that's how it is. You just attract people similar to you, who are, in a lot of like social situations, or just like taking on other people's energy sometimes, and just like feeling a bit more fatigued by being like a lot of like surrounded by a lot of people. And they actually do need more breaks. They need more downtime. They recharge when they are by themselves. Definitely myself like that too, and so many people I work with are like that too, and we have to honor that. If you are that type of person, it's so important that you honor that and that you take breaks. Let's say that you are at a social gathering and you just feel like, okay, this is fun, but it's also draining me. Just go to the bathroom, be there for a couple of minutes and just recharge and recover. Also say no. If there is a social hangout, get together that you don't want to go, you feel like you don't have energy for it, you got to say no to it. You're not going to be everywhere for everybody doing all the things all the time. You have to know yourself enough. There are some people who thrive on all that, and there are many people who don't, but because they think they should, they push themselves. And this is what's really, really exhausting and really, really draining, both for from the perspective of your mental health, but also from your physical health. Because I say this like a bazillion times here, I said it, what's happening in your mind is happening in your body too. So if you in your mind you have this resistance, you don't want to go out, or you just don't feel like your energy is high enough to hang out with a million people, but you're forcing yourself, your body is going to feel it too. And this is not going to be helpful for you. So you have to be very intentional. You have to protect your energy perhaps a little bit more, and know when it's time to say no, and when it's time to just like lay on a couch or watch a movie or read a book and just be with yourself, and to recharge this way. Even though, I feel like the big part of our society is all about like, who has the, I don't know, the highest energy and just doing more of the stuff, more of the things, and being busy all the time and getting all weekends booked and planned. If you don't want that, if this is not your thing, honor that and listen to yourself more. Okay, so this is where we are with her right now. She has made great progress, like I said, about 700 calorie increase without gaining inches or body weight. So she's doing fine. And then what we are going to do next is that we're going to keep going until she really feels like her energy is really good. Her sleep is consistently very good. Workouts feel great. I mean, workouts already feel great, but mostly that her sleep is consistently great and her energy is consistently very good. And then we can start fat loss. So of course, when she signed up with me, her goal was to lose body fat, and we'll get there. It's just that we have to do that build up phase first. And at first, when I explained this to her, and when I explained this to a lot of people, they're like, what the heck is that? I've never heard of that. It doesn't make any sense. Everybody has always told me to cut back on calories and all that. And I get that. It's not like what some people, like too many people talk about, but it is important. And so now, after we have built her body up, we have given her body some reserve, right? We have given her metabolism a nice boost. Then in a couple of weeks, she will be ready for fat loss. And this is where she's going to get way better results now versus the results she had gotten had we just started cutting from 1800 calories down. And where do we even cut? We're getting like dangerously close to her BMR, and you should never go under your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate. So we wouldn't have much room at all. And so what's the harm here, right? What is the harm here? Nothing. All you do is just win from this approach when you build your calories up first, because like I said, her inches haven't gone up. Now she's eating more calories. See how much room we have now. We have more uh, rope to play with, right? So this is a great thing, and I hope you understand the benefits of it, what the benefits of the build up phase are, benefits of the build up phase are, so that you can have more successful fat loss. And like I said, about 25% of people don't need that. Those are the people who are already eating at maintenance, at least, or maybe even higher, and then they're totally ready to go into cut because their body and their metabolism is healthy. They haven't been dieting all the time. They haven't been dieting like last several years. Then their body's ready for that fat loss immediately. But with those who have dieted and who don't have great health and high energy and high muscle mass yet, those need that little short period of time before to build all that up, and then we can do cut. Okay. I hope that all this makes sense. Once again, if you don't know what your maintenance calories are before you can cut, make sure that you get my Lean Ladies Calorie, Protein, and Workout Guide. Do the calculations there, and this will give you the answer. Okay, I hope you found this episode helpful. Let me know if you have any questions about it. If you want to work with me, then there's a link for a short application. It is in my show notes and also YouTube description. All right, take care, you guys. I'll see you again very soon, and bye bye.